We go to conferences, they talk about leadership. There's a lot of books on leadership and things you hear on the radio or social media or whatever. In the media, everyone's talking about leadership, but no one ever talks about fellowship.
There is also a lot of honor and glory and, hard work and respect in being a good follower. Hey everyone, it's Allie and Zach Fiegel with Realty Executives Cooper Spransey.
Welcome back to Reality from A to Z, where we give you the inside scoop on our lives and the reality that comes with it.
On today's episode, we are talking about not leadership, but fellowship.
Yes. Here's what's interesting about leadership. I feel like we always, we go to conferences, they talk about leadership. There's a lot of books on leadership and things you hear on the radio or social media or whatever. In the media, everyone's talking about leadership, but no one ever talks about fellowship. We're trained from an early age to be a leader, right? But if everyone's leading at everything, then who's following?
Right.
They don't make posters that say, go be a follower. There's nothing sexy about that, right? It's not like, ooh, I'm a follower. It's like, take charge.
Right. I have followers.
I have followers. Instagram followers. That's a great point.
So for me, I've always been passionate about being a leader. Like you said, I just get really motivated by leadership, whatever. And it's kind of like this glorified thing.
Yeah.
But I think, there is also a lot of honor and glory and, hard work and respect in being a good follower. Yeah. So we're kind of trying to figure out, okay, what does it mean to be a follower? And how do we do that well together as our family team and in our business? And so we're working on our fellowship skills. We're kind of looking at this from a marriage, partnership, family team idea, but this can kind of apply to other areas. So areas of our lives where we struggle with being a follower. Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, so you're not being a follower. Case in point. So sometimes in our videos, Allie likes to be the leader every single time, and which is great because she's the one that puts together the blog and she has the great ideas, and honestly this is all really kind of her thing, but also sometimes she likes to tell me and be bossy about what I need to say, and I get frustrated because it blocks my train of thought.
Sorry.
I forgive you.
Okay, and for Zach, I think sometimes it's hard for you to follow me when I have some maybe different opinions on health or what a healthy meal is that's not Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's great.
Yeah. So sometimes we butt heads a little bit, and I want to be the leader, but you also want to be the leader. Yes. And so we have to find some middle ground. In some recent disagreements that we've had, we've been working on, who's leading and who's following, and what does that look like to be a good follower. So 3 things that we've been thinking about this week. Number 1, in order to be a good follower, is humility.
Yes, I think oftentimes pride gets in the way of maybe just even realisticness in real life. And when it comes to following especially, like we said, where it's sexy to be the leader and you want to be the one that has the power and the control or whatever else, and being a follower, I think maybe sometimes people imply it as being weak or being less than, someone else, or submitting to or being their servant or whatever, and that's not the case, and that's not always the case. So it's important to maybe set yourself and set your own emotions aside and just think logically and just humble yourself.
Yes. Shout out to Hamilton, if you have seen Hamilton.
Oh, I love Hamilton.
Yes, we love Hamilton. The end, I'm not going to give it away, but I was crying like a puddle on the floor because I think it was the most beautiful expression of the Theodosia?
Yes.
The wife's...
No, it wasn't Theodosia.
Oh. What's the wife's name?
I don't know, Mrs. Hamilton.
Okay, a beautiful showcase of the wife's humility with her husband and following in his footsteps and still being a strong woman. Anyways, sidetrack.
That's a side note for us. Great musical, highly recommend, 10 out of 10 stars.
Yes. So number 2 is trust. So that kind of goes along with humility too. So sometimes it's I am very independent, so I have my ideas on how things should work or like how I want my life to go. So it's important to invite Zach into that so that we can have these discussions together, which leads into the next one. But anyways, trusting your integrity and your values so that when we're moving forward, if I'm following, like I know who I'm following. So we have that relationship, we have that communication, and you're not gonna lead me astray.
Right, so another thing that's important, number 3 here, is communication. So it's important that we're on the same page in order to trust each other and be humble and to let each other lead and follow and what have you and whatnot. So recently, this past week, we had a little bit of a disagreement about certain things. And actually, shout out to our marriage group with our church for teaching us this past weekend, which I thought was great. Is like, so as two people, of course, we're gonna have different things that are important to us and different things that we value. But just knowing like how important different things are for one person is so important. So like with our most recent example is the health situation and want to get back into the gym. Like for Allie, that was like 10 out of 10, super important. For me, not important at all. But and that led to a lot of like disagreements. Not only that, but then also you not feeling respected and not feeling heard because it is something that is so important to you. So for me to understand that that's so important to you, and it makes a big difference to me, and maybe takes my 2 out of 10 up, makes it a little bit higher because I know it's so important to you. So I surprised you with the gym membership.
Happy birthday to
Happy
me.
birthday to you. Yeah, shout out Princeton Club.
Yeah. So I think having that communication with each other, I think that's something we're going to start implementing is like, if something's a big deal to me, I need to make sure that I communicate how big of a deal and how important that is to me. And the same for you too, so that we can adjust our scale of importivity.
Importivity, yep.
Oh, importance.
Importantivity.
To make sure that the other teammate is feeling honored and heard. So hopefully, I don't know if this video helps you, but just humbling ourselves to know and believe in the impact of being a follower, which is just as important as being a leader. So acknowledging that and working to be a better follower this week.
Well, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Reality from A to Z.
From the Feagles at Realty Executives, Cooper Spransey.
Make it a great day.